Hello, everyone. So today we're going to talk about how to build your net worth. Okay, so basically, your net worth is a representation of your financial health, and I would actually say it's probably more important than the amount of money that you earn on your annual basis, because an income statement or a budget sheet does not tell you if you're saving more money, but your total net worth tells you if you're making progress after year after year. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So basically, what we want to do is create a balance sheet, and the way we're going to do that is we're going to record our assets and our liabilities, right? So a couple things that are considered assets are cash. For example, if we have like a savings account, let's say we have a checking account, that's all going to be a part of cash. If you have any CDs that you have for the bank, certified certificates, certificates of deposits, those are going to be called CDs. If you have any bonds, those are all assets, right? And when you buy them, they're listed under your asset column. So if you hold any stocks, any mutual funds, any other sort of investments like that, even if you have, let's say you have a 401k, that's an asset. And then also, let's say you have an IRA, something like that. Okay, so all of these are going to be considered assets. Now, I would say, oh, yes, we forgot to add residential property. So let's say you have some residential property, which would be like your home or a house, maybe an apartment complex, something like that, residential property. Okay, so let's say that all of this is considered total assets. Now, this is not your total net worth. This is just going to give us a list of the assets that we have. Okay, so let's say we have $10,000 in our savings accounts. We actually should change it to dollars. So $10,000 in a savings account. Let's say you have 5,000 in a CD, and let's say it should be 5,000. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and copy all the other assets to dollar amounts. Okay, so let's say you hold 0 bonds. Let's say you have maybe $500 worth of stocks. Let's say you have mutual funds. Let's say you have 10,000, and let's say you have about 50,000 in a 401k. And let's say you have about 25,000 in a Roth IRA or some sort of retirement account. And let's say you have a home of $500,000, just like that. Okay, so in order to find out our total assets, we're just going to go ahead and add up all of our assets and go ahead and drag this. And so we have total assets of $825,000 and $500. Okay, so that still does not tell us what our total net worth is. Okay, so now we want to find out what our liabilities are. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw 2 borders here so I can separate my assets from my liabilities. And I'm going to go ahead and add a shaded area just so I know. I'm bold that. Okay. So now let's find out our liability. So a liability is pretty much anything that you owe money on. So let's say, for example, on this real estate property you have, let's say you owe a mortgage of $350,000. Okay. Let's say you have some student loans. That's a liability. So student loans, you have about $50,000 in student loan debt. Let's say that you have also, that should be actually 50,000. Let's say you have a car loan of 20,000, just like that. Okay. Now you notice I didn't put the car in the asset, although you could. The reason why I didn't include the car in the asset column is because cars tend to depreciate over time. So if you bought a car, you're losing value on the car year after year. So it's probably not a good idea that you record it as an asset, because it's just gonna throw off your total assets each year. But if you do owe money on the car, it's still a liability. I would recommend that you include it under liabilities, just so you have an awareness that you need to pay off this car, right? The goal is to eliminate most of your debt, with the exception of your mortgage. That might take a little bit longer, but for the most part, you want to eliminate student loans, any car loan debts, any debt that has a high interest payment on it. For example, like credit cards have probably the most highest interest rates on these credit cards. So let's say you have about $15,000 worth of credit card debt. All right. Now that should be dollar signs. Okay. So you want to basically eliminate as much debt as possible. Now let's get to the total net worth. So we'll call these total liabilities. Right. These are all liabilities because they take money out of your pocket. You have to pay bills. You have to pay interest fees. Versus assets, you don't have to do that. Okay. So now let's say we're just going to go ahead and copy this formula. There you go. And now we want to just basically add up our total liabilities, which is going to be $43,000. All right, and we'll copy this and paste it in here. Didn't do it. Let's try it again. There you go. Okay, so in order to find out our total net worth, we're just going to go ahead and add total net worth, and this is what your total net worth would be. And we're just going to go ahead and grab our total assets, and we're going to subtract our total liabilities, and that's going to give us a positive total net worth of $390,500. All right, so that's how you calculate your net worth. Now, there are two ways to grow your net worth. Number one, you can decrease your liabilities. Number two, you can add more assets. So let's say, for example, you became fully aware of this. Let's go ahead and make it smaller. Okay, so what we can do now is basically say, okay, why don't we pay off our credit card debt? And watch very closely your net worth and see what happens. So let's say you finish paying off your credit card debt, change that to 0, and it bumps up your total net worth. So even though your liabilities are not investments and they're not producing you any cash or dividends or asset appreciation, every time you send off a payment towards liability, your total net worth goes up. So think about paying your debt off as an investment, right? Because the more you pay off, the higher your net worth is. Let's say you finish paying off your car. You just added 25 more thousand to your total net worth. Okay, let's say we reduce this to $25,000. Total net worth goes up. Okay, so now let's say you wanted to add some more investments. Let's say you wanted to add, $50,000 worth of mutual funds, right? So very simple way to calculate your net worth, calculate your total assets, calculate all your liabilities, and subtract them, and you should get your total net worth, right? If you want to increase your net worth, you're simply going to add more liability, more assets, right? You're going to add more assets, and you're going to go ahead and, for some reason it's not letting me put a plus sign there. Okay, there you go. All right, you're going to add more assets, and you're going to subtract as much liabilities as you can, right? So I'm going to go ahead and add a space, and we should get a minus sign here. Bold it, and I also want to add some color shading. Okay, so there you have it, right? Add more liabilities, decrease your liabilities, add more assets and decrease your liabilities, so your total net worth goes up. Thanks for watching and have a great day.